NATO has issued a chilling warning to Russia and Vladimir Putin: cease electronic jamming of commercial jets or face severe consequences, with Kaliningrad as a likely target. Russia's hybrid warfare, involving GPS interference, is disrupting civilian aviation across Europe's eastern flank, raising fears of catastrophic crash. This isn't just about military systems. Russia's actions now threaten civilian lives, prompting NATO to label any resulting crash as a deliberate escalation. Could this be Putin's ploy to fracture NATO and pave the way for invasions of vulnerable European nations? We'll explore Russia's dangerous tactics, NATO's potential response, and why Kaliningrad is central to this escalating crisis. From GPS jamming to the strategic importance of Russia's exclave, we'll uncover the risks of a broader conflict. Stay tuned as we dive into this high-stakes geopolitical showdown. Russia's hybrid warfare has taken a dangerous turn, with GPS jamming targeting civilian aviation. According to Euromaidan Press, Russia has intensified electronic interference across Europe's eastern borders, particularly in the Baltic region. Unlike its campaign in Ukraine, this isn't solely about military targets. Russia's actions now disrupt commercial flights, forcing airlines like Finnair to cancel routes to Estonia due to crash risks. GPS jamming can cause pilots to lose navigation mid-flight, increasing the chances of crash, mid-air collisions, or instrument failures in low-visibility conditions. The I-Paper reported in April 2020 that Russia's GPS attacks disrupted airlines like Ryanair, British Airways, and Wizz Air, with 2 planes unable to land due to signal interference. Dana Gowood of the Resilient Navigation and Timing Foundation noted that this wave of jamming began on December 15, 2023. After Poland activated an anti-missile system near the Suwałki Gap, Russia's response was to blanket the region with interference, affecting Poland, Finland, Germany, and the Baltic states. This isn't new. Russia's tactics have been ongoing for years, but their intensity is escalating. The Guardian reported a December 2020 for Azerbaijan Airlines crash, potentially caused by Russian air defenses, killing 38 people. Though not linked to GPS jamming, it shows Russia's recklessness spilling beyond Ukraine. The deliberate targeting of civilian systems marks a dangerous escalation, with NATO warning that a crash caused by jamming would be treated as an intentional act, not an accident. Kaliningrad, Russia's exclave between Poland and Lithuania, is at the heart of this crisis. Euromaidan Press and United 24 Media report that GPS and GNSS disruptions trace back to Kaliningrad's Okunevo antenna complex and Baltisk facilities. Home to Russia's Baltic Fleet, Polish scientists pinpointed interference to within 0 seconds and 60 milliseconds. Miles of these sites, confirming Russia's use of systems like Murmansk-BN and Borisogolsk-2. These facilities aren't just disrupting military systems, they're affecting civilian ships and planes, creating chaos in the Baltic Sea region. Kaliningrad's strategic value to Russia cannot be overstated. It provides access to the Baltic Sea and serves as a launchpad for potential invasions of Poland or Lithuania. The BBC notes that it hosts Russia's Baltic Fleet and nuclear missiles, capable of striking European capitals. For Putin, Kaliningrad is a linchpin for projecting power in Eastern Europe. However, its aggressive use in hybrid warfare risks provoking NATO. If a commercial jet crash due to Kaliningrad's jamming, NATO's unnamed source warns of a response targeting the exclave. This could range from covert sabotage to airstrikes on jamming facilities. Poland, with 59 fighter jets and 44 attack aircraft per global firepower, would play a key role in any NATO-led bombing campaign. Such a strike would aim to neutralize Russia's electronic warfare capabilities swiftly, but it risks escalating into a broader conflict. NATO's response to a jet crash caused by Russian interference would be measured but firm. Euromaidan Press suggests NATO would first apply indirect pressure, surging military aid to Ukraine, imposing new sanctions, and deploying advanced Western weapons to Kyiv. NATO might also assist Ukraine in countering Russian drones and missiles, aiming to punish Putin without direct confrontation. Additionally, NATO could ramp up defense production to signal long-term commitment. However, this approach may not deter Putin, who has weathered sanctions and military aid to Ukraine since 2022, he might use NATO's actions as propaganda, claiming they prove NATO's threat to Russia. If pressure fails, NATO could escalate to direct action against Kaliningrad. Covert operations to sabotage jamming facilities would be the first step, preserving plausible deniability. If unsuccessful, airstrikes could target Okinawa and Baltisk. Leveraging NATO's Baltic air policing mission and Poland's Air Force, a bombing campaign would likely succeed, given NATO's superior firepower, but it carries risks. Kaliningrad's destruction would be a major blow to Russia, potentially triggering retaliation. Putin could use the attack to justify strikes on Baltic states, claiming self-defense. This could lead to a wider war, with Kaliningrad's nuclear arsenal adding to the stakes. Putin's actions in Kaliningrad may be a calculated move to fracture NATO. Euromaidan press warns that Russia's jamming is designed to provoke a NATO member, likely a Baltic state or Poland, into striking first, by targeting civilian aviation. Putin hopes to goad a nation into attacking Kaliningrad, allowing him to argue that NATO's Article 5 doesn't apply since Russia didn't initiate the attack. This ambiguity could split NATO, with some members hesitating to defend a nation that struck first. The American Foreign Service Association notes that Putin has long used NATO's expansion as a pretext for aggression, citing Ukraine's potential membership as a reason for the 2022 invasion. By provoking a NATO response, Putin could justify further invasions, particularly of smaller Baltic states, while isolating them from larger allies like the US. United to for media reports Russia's efforts to back far-right and far-left movements in NATO countries to sow division, while also attempting to influence US policy under Trump. However, Trump's recent actions suggest US commitment to NATO, undermining Putin's hopes. The Baltic News Network highlights concerns about NATO unity, but a unified response potentially led by the US could deter Putin. If NATO strikes Kaliningrad as a collective, it would signal unbreakable unity, thwarting Russia's strategy. The Kaliningrad crisis is a high-stakes gamble for both Russia and NATO. Putin's GPS jamming threatens civilian lives and aims to destabilize NATO's unity, potentially setting the stage for further aggression in Europe. NATO's warning is clear: a commercial jet crash caused by Russian interference will trigger a response, likely targeting Kaliningrad's jamming facilities. While indirect pressure is the first step, escalation to airstrikes remains a possibility, risking a broader conflict. Putin's ultimate goal may be to fracture NATO, using Article 5's ambiguities to isolate smaller members. However, a united NATO, backed by US resolve, could counter this strategy. The key is coordination. Any strike on Kaliningrad must be a collective effort to avoid falling into Putin's trap. For now, the Baltic skies remain tense, with commercial aviation caught in the crossfire of Russia's hybrid warfare. Stay tuned for updates on this unfolding crisis and subscribe to the Military Stories for more geopolitical insights.